Hello and welcome into another edition of Sitting Down with Sgar. I am the voice of Georgetown football, Jeremy Huber, joined by the head coach of Georgetown, Rob Sgarlata. It's a happy Coach Scar this week after a victory over Lafayette. Coach, I know it had to feel good to go up and get a win over the Leopards.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. We for whatever reason we've always played well up at Lafayette. It's a great setup there, and kids really enjoy that trip. It's a shorter trip for us, and yeah, great weekend. Kids played really well, and good to get out with a Patriot League victory.
And coach, I know we've been kind of focusing on the offense. The defense kind of stepped up. You got some key guys back, and they played a pretty good game. Talk about that unit under Coach Doherty.
Yeah, it was great to see us have some of our marquee players get back. Quincy Chinwuku played significant amount with IB Kamara and with Mateen. So to have those guys back and healthy was just a huge plus for us. And also having Ivory Harrell back in the lineup. So for us, it's been a lot of guys have gotten a lot of experience. It's been next man up mentality on defense. And anytime that you can get out with a game with multiple sacks and put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, it was great to see that this weekend.
Yeah, big time sack numbers. And again, Quincy Chinwuku put two of those up. He is a guy that you've talked about before about how explosive he can be. Talk to his coach, Corey Burns. Again, it must be nice having a guy like that back and back to health where he can contribute in the way only he can.
Yeah, the the best pass coverage is a great pass rush, and that showed up, and it allowed us to do some things to put some pressure on the quarterback with just rushing 3 and 4 within the game, and that really helped us down the stretch to protect the lead.
And coach, you mentioned Mateen Abiroba, your freshman. He wins Patriot League Rookie of the Week honors as he had 2 sacks as well. A big day for him for a freshman who I don't know if anyone thought he would be this, but boy, has he delivered for your squad.
Yeah, Mateen's been great since day one in camp, and he's an extremely hard worker. And really, I give some of the upperclassmen a lot of credit for really bringing him under their wing and just getting him in that group with Coach Burns. So that group is extremely tight. Isaiah Bird does a good job with that group. Kwame has been great with that group. So to watch Mateen come in and be an impact player as a freshman, especially up front, it's been great, and he's gonna really continue to develop, especially with our strength conditioning program. And just looking forward to how he finishes the season. And I think he'll be an impact player for us, for the next 3 years as well.
Rob, you've been doing this for a long time. How important is it to have foster that team attitude where the older guys take care of and help bring the younger guys along?
Yeah, I think it's your team culture. We talk about team first, trust and accountability. And especially that group up front. We tell the kids August 3rd. This is the best you're going to feel all year. It's a tough position. You have to be mentally and physically tough, and it definitely has to be that example of a brotherhood up front because only a couple guys get in the paper for the sacks, but that's where the games were won and lost. If you look at the Lafayette game, especially, we had next man up mentality on the offensive line with a couple guys out, and defensively we got some starters back. So I don't think that'll be any different this weekend. Whoever can pressure the quarterback and protect and stop the run and run the football is going to win.
One constant all year long has been Josh Tomas. He again goes over 100 yards. And talking to Josh, he said that one thing that's really helped him this year is that he feels like he's healthier. He kind of got his body in a bit better shape so he could be out there more and be in better shape to contribute more. Have you seen that from him as a guy who's super talented, but has been there every single time you've needed him this year?
Yeah, I mean, you'll laugh. I've relayed this story. He's in the quarterback meetings. Last year I was running kickoff and he sat in kickoff meetings 11 weeks in a row. He is that kid who's going to be out there and you're going to have to slow him down as opposed to speed him up. But you know, it really is a testament to what he's done in the off season. The weight room and being in the training room and those things in the off season. He's not going to go triple his bench or clean numbers, but it does allow him to be available week in, week out. And if you look at his level of play, it's gotten better and better. He's getting stronger as the season goes on. And I think I've said this a couple times. I've been doing this a while. he's in the top three most competitive people I've ever encountered. And that's everything from beating you to the door in the Thompson Center to being on the field to returning punts to sprints to, one-on-ones with the DBs. So I think that's really showing up with him in these games where he has the ability to keep getting stronger as the game goes on.
Had a chance to talk to Josh earlier in the week, and he's still trying to angle to be on that kickoff team for you. We know that's not something you want to do. He's too important in so many other spots. But another guy in that receiver core that made an impact against Lafayette, the freshman Jimmy Kibble, of course, interesting story, was a high-level punter and kicker in high school, has come to Georgetown to be a receiver, and boy, he just showed up. He had the touchdown in the opener against Marist on the punt block. He has a touchdown on a long pass here. Tell us about Jimmy.
Yeah, if you really take a look at it from a big picture perspective, with the wins and losses for us is not where we want to be. And this team is progressing and getting better every week. If you really look at the job that our coaching staff did recruiting this freshman class, Jimmy's another example of a player that could impact us on offense or defense. I know coaches were fighting over where he was going to be. He has the speed. He's physically ready to play at this level. And he's a competitor. We had that play coming out of a timeout. We knew the matchup we had, and we knew it was him. And he is one of the faster guys that we have. So, Pierce put the ball right on the money, and he made an impact play. But if you look across the board, on defense, with Wedner Cadet, Jaden Brown, Mateen, are all playing a ton for us. And, from that perspective, we'll play the best players and keep developing them and getting them into our systems. And Jimmy is part of that really special freshman class, in my opinion. And it's great to see him getting some time and making an impact on the win this past weekend.
One more in that kind of realm. It seems like he's underrated despite the fact that the numbers he's putting up. Pierce Holly, again, another solid game against Lafayette, and just the arm talent in addition to all the other things. Again, he is a guy I feel like somehow, coach, he's flying under the radar.
A little bit. I mean, we have nightmares defending him. We're just watching 2 minute. He made a couple great throws in the 2 minute drill. Pierce has put the work in. Like I said, he put a ton of time in throughout the summer with Coach Spence. He's really built a relationship with the younger receivers that have come in, and also, he's done a ton of work with Dorian Moultrie, Cam Creighton, Josh Tomas, Ty Reed. So when you look at him with the receiver core, they're super close, and he puts the work in, before and after practice. So great to see him having success, and he's throwing the ball extremely well. He hit Josh Tomas on a sight snap throw in that game, and then the throw to Kibble couldn't have been any better. So he continues to get better week to week, and looking forward to hopefully he can keep doing it this weekend.
Move to this weekend and the matchup with St. Francis. The Red Flash have already locked up the NCAA tournament bid out of the NEC. Good team. And your early thoughts on what you've seen on film of this St. Francis team?
If you look at what Coach Ferrell has done out there at St. Francis, he's done a great job developing his program. They're in Laredo, Pennsylvania. They're in the NEC, and he's been able to bring talent from, a lot from this area and some really talented players. But I think if you look at it, he's done a great job developing his program and his team. They've won the NEC. They'll be going to the playoffs at the end of the season. So, have a lot of respect for their staff, have a lot of respect for the talent that they have on their roster.
Coach, is there a team the Red Flash maybe reminds you of that you've already played this season?
Yeah, I think, they have very talented skill kids on offense. They remind me of some of Monmouth's receivers. Their quarterback is extremely mobile. He throws it well and runs it extremely well. So, anytime that you talk about that, and you look at our Colgate game, that was a little bit of a mirror of what we're going to see in some of the offensive stuff, especially within the run game. So, they're deep on both sides. They have a very talented receiver core. One of the other freshmen I didn't mention before, Jaden Duggar's been doing a great job in the secondary, and everybody in the back end is going to have to do a good job for us to have success this weekend.
Coach, one more about the Red Flash. The fact they've already kind of locked up that playoff berth, you can almost call it a pelt if you get the win against them. Is there a little bit of extra juice for your team this week, knowing they've got a chance to match up with a playoff team and see where they stack up?
Yeah, I mean, we talk all the time about, the people that matter are in our room, and if we play well as a team, there's nobody on our schedule that we cannot beat. So this is another very talented team. They've shown that they've had success throughout the season. They took Akron to two overtimes. They played really well against a good Richmond team, and they've run the table within the NEC. So, everybody on our roster is talented. For us, it's another opportunity to come out and show where we are within our progression, within our journey. The best thing about this team is I love the way they practice. I love the way that they attack the week. We had a great week this week. The kids are extremely enthusiastic and, excited to come back home to Cooper Field and play against a quality opponent.
And coach, is it weird for you to know that you've got, in essence, a 3-game homestand, as we use the baseball term, to close out a season?
Yeah, we haven't done this. We haven't had three in a row, especially towards the end of the year. So, anytime that we can play on Cooper Field, with all the renovations and everything that's there, we love it as our home. We want to make it a tough place for people to come in and play. Tomorrow we'll have our run through and our team chapel and be able to have our team lunch here with a lot of our campus partners, which for me is always big. We have a lot of alums that are coming back this weekend for it. And, it'll be good to settle in at home and, be in our own, sleep in our own beds and get ready to go play in front of a home crowd here at Cooper Field.
And a good team in St. Francis, another good challenge for the Hoyas. Now to our Sisu Spotlight, and this week we will check in on another Hoya doing some good things as their time as a Hoya, former Hoya football player David Quintero, his charity Haymakers for Hope. And again, football is a tough game. Boxing might be the only one tougher, and he has jumped headlong into that. Can you tell us about Haymakers for Hope and David?
Yeah, DQ played safety for us. He was a member of that 2011 team and that 2011 defense that was outstanding with Andrew Shatsky, Dustin Morton, Rob McCabe, and Wayne Hymuli. I can go through the whole crew. I was a DC for them. And Coach Dave in position, very smart player, really tough kid, has worked post graduation with Google, spent a lot of time over in Ireland, and now is back here in the States. So, like everybody associated with our program and just around, if you're, has been around as long as we have, you have somebody that's been affected by cancer, and Haymakers for Hope raises money for cancer research. Dave is extremely close with his family. His dad unfortunately passed, but his mom was just recently diagnosed with breast cancer, and this is a way for him to, really help, a testament to, how much he loves his mom and is working to raise some money that's going to impact, all the cancer research and, just a great way to bring our community together. Last weekend before the Lafayette win, I had a chance to be up in Manhattan, up on Wall Street with our alums. We had about 100 alums all together, and Dave was there. He was a little late because he was coming from the gym from training. And he did a great job talking about it a little bit at that event. So I know there's a lot of Hoyas that are coming in from all over the place tonight in New York City to go watch him fight. I'll actually be watching the live stream myself. So, we talk a lot about 440 in the journey here and people being men and women for others. DQ is just another example within our community of somebody that's using their platform and using their ability to impact others. So wish him a lot of luck and looking forward to watching the fight tonight.
Yeah, again, for more information, haymakersforhope.org. You can find out all the info there. Coach, I guess we'll wrap it up with this. Have you ever found yourself in the boxing ring?
Uh, nothing like what he's going to do tonight. My grandfather, Rocco, managed fighters growing up, and I kind of grew up with it. When I was in school, I don't know if you remember, they used to have the ESPN fights on Tuesday nights. I used to tape the fights and pick one of them to watch so I could call him and talk to him about it. So, yeah, he trained the Gold Glove and Silver Glove fighters, so it's always been something that I've talked to our teams about. I know I was joking around with DQ about, we always use Mike Tyson as an example, and I told him that everybody's got a plan in the ring and on the field until they get punched in their mouth. So, it's something that hits close to home for me. I'm glad that he's using his ability, within that sport. And, lucky for me, no, not in the ring too much. So
you watched it from afar. It shows you are a smart man. That's Rob Sgarlata. I'm Jeremy Huber. Remember, the Hoyas will take on St. Francis on Saturday, 12:30 Eastern kickoff. You can be there at Cooper Field, or you can see it on the Patriot League on ESPN. Again, Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Jeremy.
For our producer, Dylan Smith, again, I'm Jeremy Huber. This has been Sitting Down with Sgar, and we'll see you next time. Hoya Saxa.